The highly anticipated retelling of Stephen King's classic horror novel, It, will be dancing its way into theaters this Friday. That being said, here's 10 things you didn't know about the 1990s version of It. Number 1. The original King novel is much darker and disturbing, which was obviously toned down for the miniseries. This includes more gruesome murders of both adults and children alike. There's even some incest. But maybe the most off-putting of all, there's a part where Beverly, in order to keep the Losers Club, or the Lucky Seven as they're called in the book, united, offers up her virginity, which the boys do accept. Number 2. Tim Curry was so unsettling as Pennywise the Clown, many of the cast would avoid him on set. We can't say that we blame them. Number 3. John Ritter got to keep a souvenir from the film, a playing card with Pennywise's face on it. Number 4. Speaking of Pennywise, it's hard to believe anybody but Tim Curry in the iconic role as the sinister clown. However, he was not the first person up for the role. Roddy McDowall, Malcolm McDowell, and even shock rocker Alice Cooper were all considered. Number 5. Tommy Lee Wallace was not the original director. Originally, it was meant to be directed by none other than George A. Romero. But, due to scheduling conflicts while shooting the remake of Night of the Living Dead, he had to bow out. It's interesting to note that this also happened to Romero on another Stephen King project, Pet Sematary. Number 6. Seth Green, who plays young Richie, is terrorized by a werewolf in a very memorable scene from the movie. In a bit of wonderful irony, Green would go on to play a werewolf on the hit show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Number 7. Wallace has been vocal about not being happy with the second half of the film, and when interviewed by ComingSoon.net, he said, quote, "I don't think the second part quite matches the first in its magic," and then went on to say, "I have no doubt that another writer, perhaps Lawrence himself, could have improved on what I did, but I am proud of having captured a great deal more of the spirit of the book than had been there in the second part script when I first came on board." End quote. Number 8. Despite exchanging letters after shooting, director Tommy Lee Wallace never met famed author Stephen King. Number 9. It was no surprise that, like their on-screen counterparts, the kids naturally bonded with one another off-set, making the chemistry we see in the film realistic. Number 10. When director Tommy Wallace was asked what scene was most difficult to shoot, oddly enough, it was the toy boat in the iconic and frightening opening sequence. Monofilament was used to pull the boat, which wasn't the problem as much as getting the tracking shots of the boat. He also noted that making Georgie's photos spring to life was another tricky scene to pull off. So, those were the 10 things you didn't know about Stephen King's It. Did we miss anything? Feel free to comment below and hit that subscribe button for more great videos that float. They all float down here. Also, please look for our next video, the 10 things you didn't know about the It remake.